Good afternoon. Welcome to Options Center. We're going to take a look at SMCI. The reason is I made a video on IWM, the small caps, and I'm going to go over to the monthly time frame. So we talked about the small caps still being in a bullish posture overall, and perhaps touching the top of this megaphone, this expanding triangle. Well, it's been real bearish on the lower time frames, and then even on the daily we had some sort of looks like a fake break, and we're still holding long. We had this trend line here, broke down into more support. Remember, this is a double support channel that we've been in here for almost 2 years now or so. Been here for a long time in this channel. So we're hitting that support again and back above into just a smaller resistance here. And so we're looking for a move higher in an inverse head and shoulder. Nothing changed. It's just a real volatile instrument. So we don't typically trade the small caps in particular. Just like any other indice, we look for setups, and we'll trade it for a minute, but we'll, especially to the upside, we'll look for individual names. So with that said, SMCI just started covering this because of its size in the ETF. So we don't have any of the different tables yet, but we're going to start doing this. So what I usually do is I usually set up, you have your default. I do have the 65s because we were looking for a setup. Now I'll save a new drawing off the default, and I like to do the monthly time frame first. That's where we check. We're in a bullish stance. We're above that 8 EMA. I don't have to draw really any trend lines. You can see that it's just completely ramping up. No, I didn't trade any of this. But we're looking for another move, another high. I don't know if it'll be the top. I don't know when this trend will end. But if we look at our indicators, we're still completely bullish. We're just a massive move. Not really any divergence. We possibly have a double top on the RSI, but if we get one more high in the monthly time frame, that will probably create a negative divergence. Now we do have some down pressure from the slow stow, but it's in an uptrend, so this may start to curl up here for a minute, and, get another divergence. I'm not sure, but on this time frame, maybe this is the beginning of a move down and the top is near, so that might create a little bit of a problem there. But we'll look on the lower time frames. This is just such a high time frame that we look at months to years out here. And so that could say, hey, a top is near. But in the near time, we're just looking for a trade in the next couple weeks. Okay, so right now we're in the SMCI. We're in the debit spread, 890 to 900 calls out to June 28th. So we have some time on that swing, a couple weeks. All right. Let's go down to again, there's nothing really to mark here. The trend's obvious. Let's go to the weekly time frame, and then I like to set up my weekly board. Save as week. And check out the trend here. Again, there's nothing really at that point to look for, but we have good support here. So we're going to draw in. I like to use the boxes because I used to use the lines, the horizontal lines, but I like the boxes because it reminds me that these are more zones than specific numbers. So we have good support here, and we're not quite back there. So perhaps price goes a little lower, but I don't think so. Because of the lower time frames, and I'll show you the triangle that we're forming here, I think might prevent that. Now the 8 EMA is going to give us a little bit of trouble. It has already. couldn't stay on top of it here and kind of rejected. So is there some risk here? Yeah, but we're gonna define our risk with what happens if price goes a little bit lower. So a little work to do. You have the setup here. You have a clear downtrend line right here. And yes, this could be a descending triangle, but we're looking for a new high. And so we have to get through these here. It should be a pretty obvious breakout at that point. This thing likes to really trend. So we've been in this for quite some time. And if we look at our indicators, so we have bearish momentum coming here on the weekly, but we're well into bull territory. So we already had a low into our RSI. And so I think this bounce is pretty good for minimal bounce. But again, I don't think that, it's kind of hard to say, but I think this isn't looking like a bounce. This is either highs or it breaks down from here. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So from here, when you have your low, now we have our cycle. We're looking for another cycle to move higher and probably a lower high from here, giving us some divergence. But I think this cycle has completed and a low is in. So the slow stoke is going to tell us it's back to the over sold area. And this should start to curl up in the next week here or so. We're actually getting a pretty good move today. But this should curl up and again cycle to the overbought territory from there. Okay, these are just some quick things I look at. There's tons of things you can pay attention to, but okay, so again, we're gonna go create another board for the daily. And so this is I go through all these steps with new coverage on individual names. And I just use the daily. I used to use TIMF because I like the term trend is our friend. We're always looking for the trend, and the trend in the long term is actually up. And then on the daily time frame, we can use our latest points here. I'm not sure that that's going to matter right now, but I guess we'll just draw one in just in case for the future. I don't want to spend too much time on this video. So that's a trend there. And then we can start to, as the momentum heads higher, we can start to use these trends as well. And that goes right along with the 200 simple moving average to a very important spot. So if this starts to break down, then there'll be another objective long somewhere down here at the 200-day moving average, which it hasn't tested for quite a while here. So, and now our next real support is down here, and so we'll need that a little bit later on. But once we get our boxes drawn in and some of these trend lines, we can really start to speed up our analysis because we just duplicate them. Okay, so we duplicate that, and now we can use this here for the previous support. And here is what I was talking about with this is a potential triangle where we have now 3 touches. So we have here, the bottom. This one didn't quite touch there. It had the confluence of the 100 moving average and support. Then you have this touch here, and now the daily touch that we have currently. All right, so that's going to be our defined area here. If it gets down to support, it's less likely that this is some sort of triangle other than a descending triangle. So we'll use this as a stop here at the 750. All right, because our probability will have decreased tremendously. And then we're using the benefit of doubt. You can use a lot of these touches here, but it looks kind of awkward, and I think this is more likely to be a tougher spot for a price to get through. But you do have one that we're pretty much touching right now, a nice symmetrical line there. So this is we're right underneath this 8 EMA, the momentum indicator. So we're having a little trouble with that today. So we need you see how all of these moving averages are sideways. So they're not going to act as much resistance support at this point until we get them to start to curl a certain direction. So we got to get above this 8 EMA, which is facing down. That's our most negative indicator at this point. So we get above that, and I think the breakout could be near. Now, with our trade, if you notice this support and resistance here, with our trade, let me use one of these instead. We're not even looking for the actual breakout at this point. Now, price starts to break out, we'll look to do something else with it. But this is our kind of our bow and arrow support resistance that we talk about often when price gets into an equilibrium. And notice our trade is up at 900, 890 to 900. So we're just talking about getting to the top and testing the triangle again. And so if this is, and let's go to the different board here. Let's go over to the Elliott wave. Now, if this is an ABC down, and this is some sort of wave 4, which, you know, we're extended in this huge move. So this possibly we're just starting to get wave 4s in here. All right, so first of all, this can be a wave 4. So we want to make sure that this is here. And then I play with it. You can, you know, make them larger and bold and things like that. It's possibly our wave 4. But if this is a wave 4 triangle, then we're looking for an A, B, C, D, E. Okay, and we don't want the arrow in. All right, so we have our A, 3-wave move down. So this would be wave 3 top here. A, B, we have a wave C, and if this is a true triangle, it's possible that D can be down here and completed, but usually the triangle fills out a little bit more. So I do think, and I don't put a whole bunch of lines. That's traditional technical analysis. On the Elliott wave page, I like to use a lot of fibs and retracements and time relationships and such. So, and this B can actually be over here. But I do like to have the pattern on there, especially if there's a triangle, just to give me a visual reminder of what I'm drawing in for the Elliott wave. So we'd have a C, and this does not have to be an actual triangle. I know it's in an equilibrium, but we have 2 scenarios that this is going to play out as, and so they won't be completely defined. Like I said, this could be on a lower time frame. This could be a D and an E in here, and then that's complete. And now we're looking for a wave 1 impulse move. Okay, but we have to keep in mind that if price gets back to the triangle top here, that could be a D. So we don't want to play with the risk at this point. You get above the triangle, and then whole different story. We think the move is over. Well, what this really could be is just a simple ABC, and that's it. The correction's over, and now price action is setting up as possibly a leading diagonal as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so this technically could be a wave 1, pull back to wave 2, and it's a deep retracement here. So we'll get on that, and actually let's go on the lower time frame so we can just see what kind of retracement we have here. Pull out the retracement tool, go to the top of the potential wave 1. and we pulled back to this 62%, 78.6% retracement. Okay, so I'll clean this up later on. I'm not gonna do this on the video, but I don't want to have all these lines in here to cloud my judgment and my visual on this. So we're right here. We got that almost to the 786, and it's not a clear touch here. Maybe on the weekly time frame. When you do these, they're all zones. So the weekly, yeah, it doesn't really change my opinion on anything. But when you have wicks, that could be on any time frame, and so we don't really have a complete touch. Like it's not defined on this 62% retracement or the 786. So this leads me to kind of just skew towards that. This is an A, B, C, D, E, and then we move higher from there. So I think this is a triangle, sideways triangle, and price action is just wasting time, consolidating, spring action, and then it'll start to move in the next few weeks. So, but we're looking for the next leg up here as an A, B, C. So if we go back to the lower time frame, we already have our A, B here, C, and now this should be a possible three-way move up for A, B, and this might be a five-way. This could be a zigzag, but flat pattern, zigzag, either way. This is an A, three-way move down for a B, and now we're looking, you see the impulse, 1, 2, possibly could be over. This could be a deeper correction before moving higher, but possibly a 1, 2, and then a nice big move, 3, 4, and 5. So we're looking for an impulse wave to end somewhere, maybe towards the top of the triangle, and then we'll have risk off well before that, and price action could get rejected again. It can continue higher, but we're not worried about that. We just want the meat of the trade. So that's SMCI. We'll do a lot more data on this as time goes by. This is a brand new ticker for us, and I think that we'll have a good trade set up here. So that's I'll go through a lot more individual names throughout this week and update a lot of those. Tesla will do on the public, since we've been kind of showing that. Airbnb, Square. Airbnb is my favorite setup right at the moment. I think that one's a pretty obvious. Square setting up again. And we'll go through a lot of these. Okay, so thanks for joining. We will talk to you in the next video.